مشاهدينا في كل مكان، أهلا ومرحبا بكم. احنا معاكم النهاردة داخل سفارة دولة نيبال. لقاءنا اليوم مع سعادة السفير سوشيال كومار لامسال، سفير دولة نيبال لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. هنتحدث اليوم مع سعادة السفير عن أبرز محطاته الدبلوماسية، وأيضا هنتحدث عن العادات والتقاليد الخاصة بالشعب في النيبال. لو عايزين تعرفوا أكتر تابعونا وهذا اللقاء. مشاهدينا في كل مكان، بيسعدنا ان يكون في ضيافتنا اليوم سعادة السفير سوشيال كومار لامسال، سفير دولة نيبال لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. Your Excellency, please allow me to thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor.
At the beginning, we would like to know more about your diplomatic stations before coming to Egypt.
So before coming to Egypt, I was Deputy Chief of Mission in our embassy in Beijing, China. And before China, I was in several countries, including Bangladesh and Hong Kong. I'd also had a sabbatical in the United States for my academic degree.
So this is the first country for you in the Middle East?
In the Middle East, this is the first country.
It's the first country.
And I'm very happy to be here.
Do you feel any difference between being in a country in outside of the Middle East and now in the Middle East? How it's different with you?
Of course, there are many differences, including cultural, geographical, social, and other aspects. It's a distinctive feature in Middle East that you have so many different kinds of, artistic expressions, linguistic styles, cultural facets, social and economic status and styles. So I think there are differences, and all of these differences are very distinct and beautiful.
Your Excellency, normally we ask second question about the country itself, about Nepal in this case, which means we need to know more about the country geographic. And please tell us more about the Himalayas and the Mountain Everest, all this nature and what distinguish Nepal as a country in the map.
So
on the
Nepal
map.
Is a middle-sized country. It is situated in South Asia, between China and India. And of course, as you said, that the northern border of Nepal is the Himalayas. Mount Everest, the highest peak of the world, is in Nepal. In the south, we have a plain area bordering with India. We are bordered on three sides by India and on one side by China. So that's the geographical part. In terms of culture and heritage, Nepal is one of the most ancient countries in the world, with an ancient civilization, with cultural and social features that are rich in different aspects. So economically, Nepal is developing, and our socio-economic indicators have improved over the last couple of years, and we have very good relations with all countries of the world. We have friendly relations, friendly and cooperative relations with everyone.
Talking about the economy makes me wonder about the most important, let's say, industries in Nepal. is what?
So essentially, Nepal is an agricultural country. Increasingly, the share of services and manufacturing is increasing. But essentially, most of our people are engaged in agriculture, even though the share of agriculture in the total income GDP of the country is decreasing over the years. Tourism is an important part, including, of course, hotel and hospitality. And many of our workers, many of our people also work in countries abroad. So in industry, we have different kinds of industries. For example, consumer industry, consumer-based industries, as well as different kinds of, small-scale industries. But essentially, the share of manufacturing industry in the country is yet to increase.
Your Excellency, we would like to know more about the people. So can you tell us more about the customers and traditions of the Nepal people, and also the handcrafts that distinguish their talent?
So it's a very difficult question because Nepal is an incredibly diverse country with many different kinds of cultural and social features. In terms of cultural influences, we're influenced by influences from the north, as well as from the south. So it's a mixture of different historical and cultural characteristics. Talking about the people of Nepal, it's an incredibly diverse country, as I said. We have more than 125 different languages, more than 120, close to 123 different ethnic groups, scattered all across the country. Relatively, it's a middle-sized country, not a very big country compared, for example, to our neighbors. But then within that small space, there is so much diversity and richness packed into one place.
By the diverse that Your Excellency already mentioned, it's very important to know how did Nepal, with this diverse and the small area, according طبعا with the comparison with the countries around it, it succeeded to become one of the most important tourism destination in the whole world.
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I think it has many strands to it. Most of the important part of it is that Nepal has always been a very peaceful country. Any tourist visiting Nepal is sure that he or she is not going to face any problem. And it's because of the history that we have, a history of mutual harmony, mutual respect and cooperation among people from different backgrounds and different lifestyles and faiths and so on. So that is one. And the other is we're also very fortunate that in the 1950s, in the beginning of the 1950s and 60s, there was an increased interest in Oriental culture. Oriental culture as well as the natural legacies and natural heritage that we have, including the Himalayas. So it brought about people, hundreds and thousands of people coming to Nepal on different kinds of fact-finding, exploratory kinds of missions. And so they went back to the Western countries basically, and it was more or less a word of mouth. And also in terms of literature and the different kinds of audiovisual resources that were made. In 1953, for example, the Mount Everest was submitted by Tenzing Norgay Sherpa and Edmund Hillary. So that was an important episode because the highest peak on Earth had been ascended by human beings. Mm-hmm. So these different kinds of influences, these different kinds of events, they brought about an interest in Nepal for its ancient history, culture, and lifestyle. And so more and more people began to came to Nepal, and we also were known as a destination for adventure sports, different kinds of adventure, not just mountain climbing, but also and hiking and so on, but also adventure sports like bungee jumping, river rafting, elephant polos. I mean, there were different kinds of activities in the sporting and other fields, which began to attract people. On the other hand, we also have been very fortunate to have a culture in which we treat our guests as our very respected people, as gods, in fact. So this kind of hospitable nature that we have, people finding warmth and convenience in Nepal is something I think which is important in having it as an important tourist destination.
And what can we say about the, let's say, the arts and music that Nepal people are characterized with it? Which means we know that arts are a main sector in the lifestyle of the Nepal people.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the carnivals and festivals that you held just for the dancing and music and this kind of arts?
Yeah, you rightly pointed out that art, culture, music, and dances, they've formed a very important fabric of the society in Nepal. Historically, traditionally. For example, there are many jatras in the Kathmandu Valley. And in other places in the country. Now, what is a jatra? A jatra is a carnival in which people express their appreciation for nature, their love for the loved ones, and so on, through different kinds of play acting and referring to ancient stories. So these jatras happen at a very regular interval. Especially in the capital city, and people take part in those carnivals and give expression to their feelings. And on the other hand, modern art has also been very people have been attracted by modern arts in different schools of art in Nepal, and there are many artists and painters who have come up with beautiful works of art. This embassy, our embassy, also held an art competition among Egyptian students earlier this year, and we also held a similar event last year as well, in which the students try to portray the different aspects of Nepali society in their artwork.
That's great.
So far as music is concerned, like in any other society and country, music is a part of the daily activity of the people. Our farmers, when they plant rice, for example, or when they work in the when they plant paddy or work in the fields, they have a tradition of singing and dancing while doing that. So everyday work is not work alone; it's kind of fun activity. So these are traditional facets that bring a very important, very interesting dynamics to life. Everyday life in the country.
Also, I would like to know more about the status of women in Nepal, because any society are known with how they treat the women, the achievement of the women in their societies that distinguish the society and the main boon of the country itself. So can you tell us more about the status of women in Nepal, please?
So the status of women in Nepal is improving. We've had a first woman president of the country. Currently our foreign minister is a woman. We've had chief justice of the judiciary, a woman. The speaker of the House of Representatives, the Parliament, was also once held by a woman. I mean, women have been an important part of revolutionary changes in the country. Our constitution mandates at least 33% representation in the parliament, and we have now women representatives in good numbers, not just in the federal parliament but also in the provincial parliaments as well as in civil service. Our tradition places women at the center, front and center of our cultural and social life. We say that a house where a woman is respected is a happy house, is a happy household, right? And which is true, actually. Unless women are happy in their household, the household cannot be happy at all. There are different indicators which tell us that the status of women needs to be improved. Of course, so far as education, health, and employment are concerned. But then there have been improvements. The life expectancy of women is higher than that of men, for example, in Nepal, which shows that the status is improving. The status of women is improving. But there's of course a lot more to do. Especially, I think, in terms of generating employment. Because due to different kinds of reasons, traditional and others, that women have not been able to find work, especially in their hometowns or villages. They have to travel to in some cases even abroad, and it's not only about women. It's a case for men as well. Creation of employment is an important part of the challenge that we face, and creating employment for women, I think that is something that we need to improve on.
talking about the work, lead me to the questions that I asked earlier about the handcrafts that distinguish the Nepal country. So can you tell us more about it? Because especially, Kaman, we have already on the table here
you can see
something
a handcraft,
with one of the handcrafts that really distinguishes the people over there. What else distinguishes the people? So
you rightly mentioned that handicraft, Nepali handicrafts are very popular and well known. And the creation of art in Nepal, it goes back to hundreds of years ago. The sculpture that we have in Nepal, as well as the architecture of palaces, of temples, of houses. So there is this traditional knowledge in people, and traditional knowledge among different, special sections of families, in which there is a tradition of families working in handicraft for generations, for hundreds of years. So we have different kinds of handicrafts. We have handicrafts that depict temples and monasteries and palaces. We have handicrafts made of cloths. We have handicrafts made of different kinds of materials available in the country. And they're very popular among tourists as well.
That's great. Also, I would like to know about the Nepal's cuisine. Yeah, it's already there is a diverse in the society, and also you are a big tourist destination. So for sure you have something. Let's say something local in this cuisine and something international at the same time. So can you describe this for us?
So Nepali cuisine is a mix of different kinds of things. For example, spices, vegetables, meat, cereals, and so on. So spices is an important part of Nepali cuisine, especially cumin, coriander, fenugreek, and so on, and chili pepper, chilies, and so on. One Nepali dish which is popular increasingly is called momo. It's steamed dumpling with minced meat or vegetables, and it's eaten with chutney, which is made of tomato and coriander and chili as well. So that's one. But the staple of Nepali people, in the mid-hills at least, is dal bhat, which means boiled rice and lentils, along with curried vegetables.
I know there are some herbs and plants that's really very important and healthy, and it's only found in Nepal.
Yes.
The mountains of Nepal.
Yes. Nepal being a very high country with high elevation, the different kinds of herbs that we find in Nepal, you might probably be referencing to a herb which is called yarchagumba, which is very popular, especially in Asia. In the mountains, he has different kinds of herbs for their health-giving and healthful benefits. They're very popular. Coming back to cuisine, we talked about momos, the dumplings, steamed dumplings. We talked about dal bhat. But then I wish to add that Nepal is a very diverse country of different ethnicities, different races, different kinds of people. So it's very difficult to pinpoint as to this is a specific cuisine Nepal. It's a diverse range of cuisines. In the south, in the southern part of the country, roasting is more popular. For example, roasting, frying. In the northern part, steaming, boiling is more prevalent. But most of the cuisine is made of rice, lentils, vegetables, to some extent wheat as well, especially in the south, and potatoes in the north, in the Himalayan part.
That's great.
So, but all of it is very delicious. And very healthful, nutritious.
And because Nepal is an agricultural country, so these things are available.
Most of these things are available. Yes.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for this interview, and please allow us to have another meeting to talk about the relation between Egypt and Nepal.
Sure. Thank you.
مشاهدينا في كل مكان، وبكده انتهى لقائنا مع سعادة السفير سوشيل كومار لامسال سفير جمهورية نيبال لدى جمهورية مصر العربية. بتمنى ان يكون لقائنا كان مثمر فيما يتعلق بالحديث عن دولة نيبال وايضا عن المحطات الدبلوماسية الخاصة بسعادة السفير، والى لقاء اخر اشوفكم ان شاء الله.